Yeah, we're live, we're audible. Good evening. What's up, D Prime?
What's up, D Prime? What's up, Neil on YouTube?
Hey. Oh, gumala pala kanina sina JDL tsaka Yoshitatsu.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
went to
yeah.
Shopsville.
Yeah.
Saya, saya. That's my type of cultural excursion. Yan din ginawa ko kay Carlo Cannon when he was here.
Yeah, did you go Pokemon shopping? Tama, di ba?
Hindi lang Pokemon shopping, lahat shopping. Kung ano-ano. Inikot namin yung GH Mall tsaka Shopsville, pati yung mga tiyangge.
Neil says JDL took Yoshi to the Mecca. Yes, he did.
The Mecca.
Oh, it's the mecca for people like us, diba?
Hmm.
The US is just hating on it. Putting it on the watch list for fakes.
Wala kasing fake sa Japan, kaya niya din si Yoshitatsu doon.
Wala naman talaga.
Maka-experience siya ng flea markets.
Hello, Gerard. Been wanting to turn the guns heel for the longest time now.
Bakit? Ang problema mo, Gerard?
Because he doesn't want them to break up. So his coping mechanism is they're gonna turn heel. Saying hey to patron Christian. DL Christian.
Nakatulog na raw.
Galing na naman sa team building. Emil Nate is on the chat. On his way back to Naga. Our Naga is going back to Naga.
Pasalamatan natin siya dahil sa kanya champion si Super P.
Kitang-kita siya dun sa shot eh. No?
Oh, my.
Ay, wag pala natin i-spoil si Emil. Nasa bus pa siya.
Shout out to Wrestling Boy on TikTok. Nakita ko siya doon. He's a pretty prominent figure guy. He also apparently he listens to the podcast. So shout out sa iyo.
Yeah, he does. Si Lou.
So,
Yeah, he's not.
kami.
Yeah, he doesn't just listen to the podcast. He's friends with us.
Yeah, so I was because I follow him on TikTok. So I like his
Yeah.
content. And we actually exchange a few words. Doon ko nalaman na listener pala siya.
Na-attend din yun ng mga show natin.
Yeah. That's where I saw him last night. Yeah. Kahilera ko siya.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Please hit my music and yeet!
My name is Colin Cash Money Cannon.
What do we want to talk about?
Hey, this is the Cosmic Cactus, Paul London.
You're still just a kid. Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Because mommy is always on top!
This is Lola Vice. I love you so much.
They love my Latina heat.
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
You are CM Punk.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
To say his name!
Say his name and
He appears.
Stan C, the voice of Philippine wrestling, University of the Philippines, Diliman.
Romoran, the fancy daddy, University of the Philippines, Diliman.
Chino Liao, Best Gout Machine, San Sebastian College Recoletos, College of St. Benilde, De La Salle University, International Academy of Film and Television.
Emulate, Small Forward, the Ateneo de Naga University.
When you're listening.
You're listening.
And you're listening.
And you're listening to the Wrestling Podcast. And you're listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
To the Wrestling Podcast.
Wrestling Podcast.
On our Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
You're listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah.
You are watching and listening to the longest-running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stancy, Romoran, and Chino Liao celebrating 316 Day. Happy 316, everyone. We hope that you are having a brewski as Stone Cold would. And I hope you're also annoying people in your life by going whenever you can. Yeah, so last time na nag-celebrate tayo ng 316 Day tapos Monday siya, it was actually yung start of COVID. So it's nice to know that we're actually able to create some new memories on a 316 on a Monday. I'm sure you can remember yung very first Monday Night Raw of that era, diba? With Stone Cold and Becky Lynch and Byron Saxton in front of absolutely nobody.
It's funny you mentioned that because the last time we started, pasimula yung COVID, wala lumalabas ng bahay. Ngayon, 200 pesos na yung gas. Wala na ulit lalabas ng bahay. So, it's pretty
our bosses didn't get that memo yet. So,
oh my God.
Sana, I mean, I would love to go back to a little work from home setup for maybe a couple of weeks.
Hopefully.
While Trump sorts himself out. But yeah.
Yeah. But no, this is where we are. This is the life we live. So we'll make the most of it. Happy 316, everybody. Let's say hi to some friends and listeners who are joining us in the chat. Captain Mike is here.
Yes.
So
Mike.
is MDM/Mark D. Manalo /Patron Jace. Ager is also here in the comments. Happy 316 to you. Sa YouTube, sinong nandyan?
Si Neil pa lang. Pero saying hey to Jace, Domante pala. Mga ni Ice-T, mga tropa ni Ice-T.
Oh, tropa siya ni Ice-T by extension. So, congrats to you, Jace. That's a nice little blessing you've got going on over there. Got a couple of announcements before we get to some wrestling talk. First off, we've got the WrestleMania viewing party happening on April 19 and 20. So that is going to be at Skinny Mike's in BGC. 6 a.m. yung showtime. 6 a.m. Manila time. So 5 a.m. pa lang magbubukas na tayo ng doors. And we'll be putting up the form in a few hours. So abangan nyo na lang on facebook.com/wrestling podcast.
Yeah.
Sino pa nandito? Bruce is here in the comments. Thanks for joining us, Father Bruce. Also announcing na the patron program still alive and well. If you want to subscribe and support the podcast for 1 month lang, it's patreon.com/wrestling podcast or ganknow.com/wrestling2xpod. John, one of our newest patrons, is also here in the comments. Yun, so dumadami yung patrons natin. Thank you so much for all your support. It really, really means a lot to us.
Thank you, guys.
Pa-birthday nila sa amin, pa-anniversary nila sa amin. Yung 1 month subscription na. It's just 1 month, y'all. It's just $5. I know gas prices are rising, pero I think you can afford $5.
Tataas yung gas price natin, hindi
just before maging just before maging tama. Di tayo magtataas ng presyo.
Hindi tayo magtataas. So, pero gas
tama.
So 12th anniversary na natin in just a few weeks, like 3 weeks from Sunday or whatever. So pa-birthday gift niyo na sa Wrestling Podcast yon. Or if you want to sponsor a segment and have Emil Nate go ape shit on whatever topic you want, it is as easy as sending us an email over on hello.wrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. So let us know how you want Emil Nate to sprack right here on the Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to some reactions from AEW Revolution, which just happened a few hours ago as we are recording and streaming. And we're going to start at the end. So, nung predictions, sabi ninyo, Hangman will win his third AEW World Championship. And the podcast was wrong. MJF retained.
Yeah.
So the question is, with Hangman no longer being allowed to challenge for the title ever per the stipulation, ano na mangyayari?
Yeah, all right, I'll start this one off. It's an interesting take because yeah, I thought that I don't know. A lot of people were saying when the stipulation was first announced, oh, did they learn their lessons from Cody? Did they, are they doing the Cody thing again? And I confidently said they learned their lessons from Cody, and they would actually just have Hangman win and defy the odds, Siba. And I will temporarily eat crow for that. But something that recently happened, I feel like, gave me a little insight on what could possibly be the next step for this, diba? So I want to take you to SmackDown a couple of weeks ago, where Drew McIntyre had to defend his WWE Championship against Cody Rhodes, despite Cody Rhodes allegedly never being able to get that championship shot again because he lost that one match. And all this said, because Drew couldn't stop messing with the title shots and the title opportunity matches, he has no choice but to go back on his word and give Cody a championship match. So knowing that, given the blueprint to how one can get around the stipulation and give the championship match to someone who said at one point they could never they will never challenge again. I think the words are just words at this point. Like, it's the story, and you can do whatever you want in the story. The writer can do whatever they want in the story. Sometimes it won't make sense, but I feel like the way WWE did it, ironically, is the way you can do it in AEW as well. So I think that was the lesson. I think that was the lesson they wanted to do this whole time. I don't know, with Cody all the way back, so all of those years ago, except that Cody just really left AEW for whatever reason before they could get around to doing that. Diba? So I feel like the whole thing with Hangman was just a way to sweeten the pot, and I feel like nobody's word is bond anymore, but for a good cause, diba? For a good reason, because syempre, I think we all know naman that it's really unsustainable for someone to never be able to challenge for a championship again. And as a corollary, I feel like this might have been the right move because the community is a bit down on Hangman right now because of the minor situation that he got himself into when he posed for a picture with Marty Scurll, diba? Who is still kind of persona non grata in the major league. So, kung yun yung context, I feel like that might have been a good move in the short term, and maybe once the heat has died down, they could look at possibly figuring out the way to get around the ban.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that you said that, Ro, kasi nung pinapanood ko siya kanina, I was also pissed, right? The same way Emil feels about the situation was how I felt about it, right? Diba? Ano ginagawa nyo? Bakit nyo nilaglag si Hangman? All that, right? But then you bring up a good point of them being able to essentially be retroactive. There we go, in this action. Kasi at least, diba, there's a way for them to write around it. Now, I'm not in agreement here when you say na baka they might do the WWE thing because it's something that they don't really do. AEW doesn't really do the WWE thing unless it's a tongue-in-cheek thing, right? Unless it's a wink-wink, not-judge thing to the fans. So there are ways around it. They can still make Hangman probably win a casino battle royal in the future, or some other creative way that AEW can think of. But it's not the end for Hangman yet. It's the end for now, I guess, is what we're trying to say here. And if that's the case, then good for them. Sana lang, there's also a plan after this wherein it's not just MJF's title to hold on to for however many long years. Sana there's like a credible threat to him afterwards, because he does his best when he has somebody to go off of, somebody to bounce off of on mics or in the match. So sana there isn't just a litany of like the week of villain of the week characters here, and there's like an actual story behind it.
For MJF, this actually makes him look really, really credible because he survived the onslaught ni Hangman.
Oh,
Lahat
that's
ng-
really good,
all the depravity that Hangman put themselves through for MJF to come out of it, still world champion, makes him look like a legitimate badass.
Yeah, it was a really thorough beating. Like MJF really put himself out there. You can never say that MJF isn't selfish because he is willing to eat a lot of shit just to make you look good as a babyface. So he was willing to. He's not your typical pretty boy na ano eh, na umaayaw sa mga ganyan eh. He really does the work. He wants to prove na he's legit and he's hardcore, and he really. I'm sure he's not gonna do this all the time, but he really went all the way to show that he can hang and he is world championship material because he can hang.
I mean, MJF is a student of the game. He's self-professed wrestling fan as well. So, alam mo namang he's willing to go the distance for something like this.
No, I mean you can be a student of the game and still not want to do death matches, and that's totally fine.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. Which was the spot from the death match that really made you recoil the most?
Not necessarily recoil because I enjoy the hilarious. I find everything hilarious because you know I like the depravity, the violence. So go to the closest thing to recoil is still the syringe spot because Hangman is a sicko, legit sicko for that because I've come to be okay with syringes since since being afraid of them in childhood. So it's crazy, and although I haven't gotten a piercing ever, so siguro yun na yung pinaka winsiest spot that in the match for me.
Same. I'm actually afraid of needles. That's why I don't have tattoos. Like I can appreciate the tattoos, but never. So the fact that he had a needle poking out his shin, parang, even with my high tolerance from watching Game of Thrones and all that, parang, okay. Tsaka yung drinag siya sa salamin, that also kind of got me. This is like that's like pretty intense right there.
Yeah. Ako dalawa. Yung nung naka-staple na yung happy birthday dun sa dibdib ni MJ, tapos hinatak ni Hangman.
I actually laughed.
That was funny.
I was actually hoping that there was tawag dito, I was hoping that there would be a close-up dun sa staple wire to see kung meron bang flesh na natanggal or whatever.
I think may daya yun ng konti because of the paper.
Yeah.
So it wasn't.
So it doesn't go all the way through.
Yeah, it doesn't go all the way in. Yeah. Chino's right. That's a great call, Chino.
Right. And yeah, yung syringe spot. I have tattoos, but I too cringe and wince.
Syringe spot, my God.
When needles get involved. Tapos may tumatalsik pa diba? May nagsusquirt pa. So yeah, that was really depraved. So yeah. All right, let's move on to the big returns from the show. So we had two big returns, Cope and Cage and Will Ospreay. And in both instances, you had the blackout and then this pre-video to the actual return. So before we discuss the actual returns, I want to get your thoughts on yung pacing lang nito because like these happened within like 1 hour or so of each other. So what did you think of that?
I wasn't following the stream, so to me, I was when I was posting, I was really just watching through the highlights because I was on my way to work and I didn't buy the pay-per-view, so it didn't matter much. But I do understand where you're coming from. That it is a little bit overkill when you're watching it, when you're seeing it kind of almost back to back. Yeah. It's not good editing. A lot of people will tell you, a lot of veterans will tell you that you got to space things out like that. And not just space things out, but if you're already doing one thing, you shouldn't really be doing the same thing again. Not even the whole show, diba? Just do it once and then don't diminish your returns by doing it again that night.
Yeah, I understand. I got the why it felt weird, but also it's a pretty long show as is with AEW show. So parang nag-gets ko din bakit siya, pampagising siya diba? Parang, yeah. Diba? So I get why they try to space it that close together, but I am also in agreement as to how they should be spaced. meaning that they should let these things breathe a little bit more.
Mm.
You know, pero gets ko naman din kung bakit sila nabibigla ng ganun.
Mm-hmm.
So, give props to Emil. Kasi he
oh,
called,
si Emil
props to
Nick
Emil,
niya yun.
yeah. Sabi
Kung
mo
di
yan
niya
dun sa
kinulit, baka
Chiron
di
niya.
nangyari.
Oo.
Sabi mo dun sa Chiron niya, predictor of outcomes.
Sige.
Manifested Cope and Cage's return.
Emil, bakit mo naman sinulat yung heel turn ko? Why naman like that?
So what do you think about Cope and Cage first?
Well, when Emil floated the idea, it made sense. Kasi yun nga, they were the few that needed to be addressed. But it was the elephant in the room, so to speak, right? So yeah, it was about time then. Yun nga, when Cope left, people thought he was going to WWE kasi it was seen as retirement, but turns out he was just filming. So it was about time for him to come back. I think then after the Young Bucks, there wasn't really much to go off of in the tag division. Because if the Young Bucks didn't win, there's not much left for FTR to do. They did the Rascals already, unless they go back to that after. So the big match for them, the big feud and match for them to continue with before they hang it up is CNC. And I feel like this is going to be the crowning moment then for CNC, like a one last tag team championship run before they retire.
Yeah, it makes sense, I think. Tama din naman yung sinabi ni Road. Makes sense because yun nga, that's the unanswered question for FTR, and it's just one last ride into the sunset for Cope and Cage here. Now, I don't know if they're turning on each other, if Christian ends up turning on Cope here. Might be too early to tell. But Christian is also on his own parang self-discovery trip right now, so baka hindi. We don't know. It's too early, but it's nice to see them back, you know.
Mm-hmm. How about Will Ospreay naman? Meron mga bali-balita from last week na matagal pa raw bago siya babalik. Clearly, red herring yun for the
I was actually surprised to see him back. Ito, legit surprised. Kasi yung Cope and Cage, parang napasukan na ni Emil yung utak ko ng idea. Right? But,
the Ospreay thing was kind of hinted na. Kasi the person who wasn't coming back yet was Jay White. Right. The news was always that Ospreay was close to return. Okay. It just didn't say that the return was actually that close. You know? So this one was aligned na rin. People were wanting to see Ospreay come back. And I
mean, yeah, good for him. He's able to come back earlier than expected. Again, I thought it was going to be a while since.
I don't think it was earlier because they already had started running vignettes for him, diba? Video packages for him.
Pala.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So two big returns right there for Will Ospreay and Cope and Cage. And then you also had a big debut in Ronda Rousey, who made her presence felt after Timeless Tony Storm versus Marina Shafir.
Sige, go ahead.
Nakakatawa to because this girl was just on Netflix promoting her fight against Gina Carano, talking so much shit about the UFC and of course the WWE. Sinabi din siya, diba? Like she said so many things, right?
Yeah,
and then, lo and behold, nasa AEW na siya, right? So you'd think you'd think she'd be done, pero all of this to say that she reminds me of her good friend CM Punk with what she just did here. In that, ang dami niyang sinabi, and then nandito na ako sa laban, tangina niyo. It's just that's what it came off to me. It's just so funny na ito yung move na pinili niya to promote her fight.
It's not really surprising because she already showed up in ROH like soon after she left WWE a while back. What's more funny to me is that TK would actually take a chance on Ronda Rousey in wrestling one more time, diba? I know that it's most likely a favor to her close personal friend Marina Shafir, and it's yung setting, the context that she ended up in. Being aligned with the Death Riders, it makes more sense than whatever she was doing in WWE. So go to with Shayna Baszler, but I don't know, man. TK tends to be making the decisions that are popular with the internet crowd, and this isn't popular with that crowd at all. Like no matter who you ask, Marks or Smarks, nobody really likes Ronda Rousey in pro wrestling. Like I respect what she's doing in pro wrestling, the same way I respect what Marina Shafir is doing in pro wrestling. But she's an acquired taste kasi, and her style doesn't naturally lend itself as well as your Shayna Baszlers, as your Shinya Aokis, as your Kazushi Sakurabas, who actually get what they're trying to do in pro wrestling. It seems like Ronda never really got the sport the way the other MMA legends have.
Because Ronda's not willing to do business. That's just the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. Maybe we'll call it that. So I don't know if TK really foresees a lot of good things to come from this signing, or if she is signed at all, this new pickup for AEW. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's a huge risk, but it's not one that I'm really into right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get.
We also saw the return of Kenny Omega, who came back to save Brody King from Swerve Strickland. So Swerve and Brody had their match, and then after that, Swerve he brought in the Cinder Block, or the Hollow Block as we call it here, and he attempted to stomp Brody through it. So we've seen Swerve do that all the way back from his Lucha Underground days pa lang. And then Kenny Omega came out and saved Brody and made Swerve and Nana run for the hills.
Yeah. So people think that Kenny was going to be out for a while because he was scheduled in Japan last weekend. It's clear naman that he took the earliest flight he could to make it to Revolution in time on the West Coast, diba? So I don't think it was a stretch to believe that he wasn't making it to the show. I feel like it could have gone either way, and it made sense then that that he showed up to save Brody and to continue the feud with Swerve.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think it also goes to show, kasi mas naniniwala pa ako na bumalik si Kenny Omega than the Ospreay coming back. So it really just goes to show how unpredictable everything is at this point. Like, you never know who's coming back or not.
I don't know if you guys noticed, pero walang masyadong F-Ice chance, no, when Brody made his entrance. Like, remember how we were like, oh yeah, we're probably gonna hear it super loud, lalo na nasa LA pa.
I don't know. I can't explain either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
Baka nasa Oscars lahat ng F-Ice chance.
Could be. Nobody prompted Wayne Brady to start a chant.
No.
All right, we have some new champions here. Let's start with Divine Dominion. Ito na, finally, you guys have been angry that Megan Bayne has been losing championship shot after championship shot. And then finally, alongside Lena Cross, a fellow big girl, they are now the women's tag team champions. But before that, they also gave Willow a beatdown noong 0 hour during the TBS championship match against Lena Cross.
Buti naman. So we predicted what? Jet Speed breaking up, which we'll get to in a bit. We predicted, ang sabi na natin, FTR was gonna lose, or I said FTR was gonna
Hangman
lose.
was gonna lose. I was gonna win.
Lahat yun, wala. Out the window, right? So, buti na lang pati ito binigay ni Tony Khan sa atin. Thank you, TK, for this. Because at least now Megan Bayne has something, Thank you.
It is crazy how much Willow is protected. Like, after the major up and down 2025 that she had, she is super protected now, that she needed to be beaten down before Megan Bayne, of all people, and Lena Cross, who are much bigger than she is, had to beat or were able to beat her. So that's pretty cool. I'm not complaining. It's pretty cool because sometimes people aren't protected that way, especially someone as beloved as Willow. So I don't think even Mercedes Moné is protected like that. So that's pretty cool to see.
Stat isn't protected like that.
Oh, Stat
sure.
definitely.
And di na super popular sa Stat.
Tony Storm, diba?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, congrats to Megan Bayne and Lena Cross, and I'm actually excited because I like the visual of these two gigantic women, diba? Kind of like sina Nia Jax and Lash Legend over in WWE.
Yung may tapak energy,
Yes, sir. Absolutely,
absolutely. Sabi ko dati na hindi ko gets yung tapak energy. Now I get it. Tapakan mo ako Megan Bayne, right? All that.
Yeah, welcome to the club. We also have new trios champions in Mystico and Jet Speed. Ito na, balikan natin yung sinabi mo kanina, Chino, na you guys were predicting the breakup for Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey, and yet we have them holding championships yet again.
Yeah, and we have a new member to the ever growing AEW roster. This is all pretty weird to me. Like I actually thought this was where the story was going. That turns on Mike Bailey, and then diba, hindi naman kasi parang si Mystico was just thrown in there. Their original partner was Hangman, right? So the fact that they got this was parang and then they make them champions. Interesting. Okay, I'll see where it goes, but it's just not the thing I expected to happen.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna get do the breakup thing, and I thought that the Don Callis family was gonna get a much stronger run, but I feel like there's gonna be some movement on the triangle between Fletcher, Okada, and Takeshita. Lalo na they all lost, diba? So I guess they're gonna set that in motion. But I would have wanted a longer run, but I guess they're finally gonna. Hopefully, again, this is me. This is gonna be me prone to predicting the wrong thing, but they're gonna finally set that in motion and do the thing after beating around the bush for so long.
We also have one more new champion in Jungle Jack Perry, who's now the new national champion. So as you guys predicted, yung Battle Royal stretched into the main show. Yung parang cold open niya. You had the final three, El Clone, Ricochet, and Jack Perry trying to toss each other over the top rope. And then as soon as nag-zoom out, and I saw Jack Perry's mom and sister who are so hard to miss in the front row. Like, two women na blonde, na kulot yung buhok, tapos naka-tank top. Malamang sa malamang sila yun. I was like, Jack Perry's probably gonna win this. And he did. And it was a great hometown moment for the returning Jungle Jack Perry.
Yeah, it was about time that for Ricochet to lose the championship. They had been feuding forever. Like, Jesus Christ. The matches are good, but nobody. I think the level of interest wasn't really there for Jack Perry versus Ricochet. So I'm finally glad that they did something with it. I say they have been having so many matches together that something had to change.
Yeah, congrats to Jungle Boy here. So, kung siya
Hindi na siya Jungle Boy, Jungle na lang. Jungle Jack.
Jungle Jack. Right, fine. Okay, Jungle Jack Barry here. Because now we get to see him go crazy in the Indies. And that's the one merit of the national championship. So I guess we just have all of that to look forward to in the future.
Mm-hmm. All right, Emil Nate is not here, pero meron pa rin tayong Emil Nate dance break. And on the other side, we'll talk about the highlights from SmackDown and AAA Rey de Reyes.
Back at the Wrestling Podcast Monday night stream. Myself, Stan C. Romeran, talking about all the goings on SmackDown.
All right, let's start with the heel turn heard round the world. You had the contract signing between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, and then I don't know kung meron ba nagpredict sa inyo, but Randy Orton basically hit Cody with a nut shot and just brutalized him throughout the ringside area, making Cody wear the proverbial crimson mask. Ro, I know you've got feelings on this one.
I don't hate Randy Orton turning heel because it has been a while since we saw a heel Randy, and it seems as though they're calling back to 09, 08 IED Orton. So that's cool, I guess, but nobody was asking for nobody was asking for anyone else than Cody turning heel, Like, people were ready to boo Cody, and for whatever reason, nobody was willing once again to pull the trigger on that. And then Cody's going to tell you the way he did in the last vestiges of his AEW run that, but I was heel don't you see how the crowd was hating me while I was being, while I was being all uptight and obnoxious? And maybe someday when we look back at this time in Cody's career, when we look back at early 2026, he's gonna say that again and gonna justify that as a heel run. Pero hindi eh. Yes, people are booing you, and maybe that can qualify as you being a heel, but if you're not explicitly presented in the story, if you're not on the run sheet as the heel in the story, then you're not quite the heel. You're not completely the heel. And I feel like there was an avoidance of accountability on that end. You know what I mean? Parang Cody really seems to be allergic to being portrayed as the villain since his I don't know, since his independent days when he was part of the Bullet Club and all of that. I know he was a heel in the independents, pero it's just strange. Like it's nice to have the Orton heel turn, but that's not what people were asking for. And I know that sometimes as the storyteller, you have to influence what the people want because and I do believe this to be true, that the fans don't know what they want until you give it to them. But at the same time, the 10% of that rule is the fans do know what they want, and sometimes you are beholden to give them what they want. The same way you were beholden to have Cody win at WrestleMania 40 2 years ago. So you can't say that, oh, we listen to the people now and then turn back on that when what the people want isn't what you want, diba? So it's weird. I certainly didn't expect to be hating on Cody like this, but there does seem to be a pattern here of him trying to avoid the booze of being a villain.
Yeah, it is weird. It's also them taking us further and further away from where we thought this story was going. Kasi una kala natin it was Drew going in to Mania as champion. Then we thought it was a multi-man. And now we thought it was Cody turning heel. But now none of those things are actually happening now.
Yeah.
Diba? And we're getting a heel turn on Cody, which is the last thing anybody expected. I thought in this stage of his career, Randy Orton was just, coasting to use a loser term here. Kasi parang ano na siya nandun na siya sa legend status eh. Diba? He was just there now. He's just biding his time now as the legend that he is, which is great. So for him to actually have a prominent story here so late into the road to WrestleMania tells me that they are desperately trying to make the story matter. Diba? It's them not having enough runway to tell an actual story. And so they're rushing things by making Orton turn heel. Kita nyo agad, kupal talaga si Randy Orton, no? And then they'll just double down on that with like the past or whatever. Right? That's what's going to happen on the road to WrestleMania with however many weeks we have left. Because they don't have anything else going on. That's like that they've painted themselves into this lane. They forced us to watch this lane, and now we just don't have any other choice.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on that and say that's a great point. Because now that you put it that way, it really is like it really does feel like they're doing everything they can just to not have Cody turn heel, diba? Parang everything else you can throw everything else at the wall. Like John Cena turns heel, Randy Orton turns heel, just so we don't turn Cody heel. Like, I thought we were all about, riding the momentum and, figuring out when the right time is for things. I thought, and the people thought this was the right time to turn him heel because the welcome had long been worn out. And we've long past the finishing the whole story bit, diba? So I think the honeymoon period of Orton turning heel, which isn't even a thing because people were cheering for him at the end of the segment, is going to wear out quickly, and then they're going to be forced again to stare the reality in the face that people are booing Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm. May tanong si Doc G dito sa comments. What if the Orton heel turn leans into the direction Becky Lynch did back when the man came to be in 2018?
That would be good because at least they acknowledge now, okay, people don't want to cheer Cody because they want to cheer whoever he's fighting.
I mean, yeah, if they're that self-aware now, sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it is an interesting road to WrestleMania to say the least. Eto, another Cody Rhodes foil. Sami Zayn continues to crash out backstage. So ilang linggo na to? I think like 4 straight weeks at this point of Sami Zayn crashing out, and it reminds us of former friend of the pod, who would basically be this way. So like we've seen this happen in our personal lives.
So it seems like they're doing the thing where it's leading to a feud with Aleister Black, which again nobody asked for.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn was interacting with Cody Rhodes, so the assumption was they're doing the thing and not a feud with Aleister Black. So why do we get this instead?
Why are we also getting Drew and Jacob as a solo match? Right?
Yeah.
Why all these other things nobody asked for? Why can't they just give us the multi-man, make it chaotic? It's a weird card at this point. It's very
No,
weird.
I mean, I normally wouldn't pile up on this but it's really because they were on the way to putting together a really, really interesting multi-person story for the main event of SmackDown at WrestleMania. And then all of a sudden, hindi pala yun yung gagawin nila, diba? So that's the disappointing part. Again, I will fully cop to this being, an expectation in my head. But unlike the Jericho rumors, they were doing this deliberately in front of us on screen. Diba? Like they were moving the pieces on the chessboard in front of us. They were setting it up. And then they turned away from that exact outcome. Diba? So that's why it not naman stings, but it is a little bit more disappointing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really want to see kung ano yung kalalabasan, pero the more that Aleister Black gets involved and has the final say in these backstage segments with Sami Zayn in particular, parang yung parang ito yung direction talaga. At one point, I thought it was Sami Trick. Kasi diba sila rin yung nagbabanggaan sa likod eh.
Right.
So now I don't know where Trick is heading this, for WrestleMania 42. So it's a big question mark from here. Let's talk about Drew and Jacob Fatu. You guys also mentioned that kanina. So Drew McIntyre did a quitting fake out. Basically said he quit, and then at the end of the show, he attacked Jacob Fatu during the Trick Williams versus Jacob Fatu singles match. And then he said, I didn't say I was quitting. I said I was quitting this, referring to yung issue niya with Cody and the WWE Championship.
Auburn labo. That's like, yan yung mga gumagawa na lang sila ng excuse para hindi sila umamin. We have that one friend. It's like, hindi ko sinabi yan. Actually, ang sinabi ko ganito. Diba? Like, we see that in politics every day. And Drew, very political in this version of his character. So it's just funny that this is the reason, the logic that he uses to start this new feud going to WrestleMania.
I mean, it's not really the new feud, but really more of
or extensions.
Yeah. It's heel work. It's typical heel work. It's funny, but it's heel work. It makes sense naman, but I always thought that it was gonna be woven in because, again, the main event scene for the past few months was really interwoven together. So it's strange that that's not what's happening when they set it up so perfectly for themselves, Yun lang naman ang disappointing eh.
Mm-hmm. Over on the women's division naman, let's talk about the Bellas. So we haven't seen the Bella Twins on TV in quite some time, and now they reminded everyone now we're coming for the Women's Tag Team Championship. And then they got involved with some physicality nung match ni Nia and Lash versus Charlotte and Alexa. And then nung backstage, nung nabubwisit sina Charlotte and Alexa, Bria and Nikki said, we got next.
Yeah, nangangamoy Mania feud din to, because they're the Bellas and they deserve to be on Mania, right? So I don't know where that places Charlotte and Alexa. If they make a triple threat, I highly doubt that.
Mukhang triple threat nga.
Okay.
They were all messing around with each other at the end. I don't hate it.
The Bellas, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think they're all gonna do it because I don't think you can trust the Bellas to carry a not even a singles but a one-on-one tag feud, so I do think you need veterans in Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss for it.
Mm-hmm. And finally, on SmackDown, Jelly Roll had a very prominent part on this week's episode. He was part of Miz TV, and then during the Randy and Cody segment at the end, Jelly Roll hopped the barricade and was telling Randy na, uy, tropa mo yan. And then tinulak siya, and he's like, wait, tropa mo rin ako
I agree with Kit Wilson. Thin Jelly Roll is weird.
my God.
He really is. Thin Jelly Roll is weird. He looks weird. He looks much older. Para siyang mas naging tito. Eh, bata pa siya, di ba?
Yeah.
No, he's older than us, dude. He's like Chino's
Is he?
age.
Oh, kaya
Yeah,
pala
yes.
mukhang tito.
No, he's pretty old. He's not like in his 40s, but he's pretty
Oh, okay.
old.
He's 41.
He's 41? Okay, I thought
41.
he was
That's
He's
older
like-
than Chino.
Okay.
With a name like Jelly Roll, I always thought he was younger.
No. Because I know he also was incarcerated and did
Right.
drugs, so all that shit ages you. But anyway, it's weird that they use Jelly Roll to as parang his conscience. That's what I got. Siya si Jelly Roll, this one-time tag team partner of Randy Orton, is suddenly Orton's conscience. And that's really what got me about this whole thing. Parang tayo, bakit ka relevant bigla Jelly Roll?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna get physical at WrestleMania.
I think he will because he already had a match, so I don't think it's out of the question for him.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, put Jelly Roll in a WrestleMania match for this year, given the roster and the stories we have.
The Miz and Kit Wilson versus Jelly Roll and someone.
Danhausen.
Not Danhausen. No, I know. Danhausen was no.
The Danhausen was
Danhausen cursed Miz.
Yeah, cursed Miz.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, why not? Why the hell not?
Danhausen.
Why the hell? I mean, you gotta get if it gets Kit Wilson on the card, why the hell not?
Yes. Oh, diba? Pati si Danhausen. I want to talk about Danhausen kasi we're a few weeks removed from Elimination Chamber, and I think at this point, the consensus on the internet is that the debut could have been so much better, and yet Danhausen has bounced back so hard that every main roster show has him on it, and it's an instant highlight just because of how funny he is.
It was his debut. I think again the debut was hurt by people expecting Chris Jericho. So there's that. But again, this is why we let things unfold. This is why we let things play out. Because things are almost never what they seem at the beginning at one particular point in a story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just a merit also of the kind of worker Danhausen is, because he knows his strengths. Diba? He's not a wrestler's wrestler. He's not a work rate guy. He's a comedy wrestler, and he himself admits to that. So he knows what his strengths are, and he knows how to get people back on his side. Diba? He's doing nothing different than what he was doing on AEW and then the Indies. So the fact that he's able to carry over that kind of gimmick to a much larger establishment, I guess, promotion like the WWE just goes to show kung gaano siya katalino talaga.
Pala, the rumor is that it's probably it might be Royce Keys. So Jelly Rolls Royce. No, I'm not joking about the rumor. I'm joking about the name.
Yeah. I've seen the rumor. The name was funny. Going back to Danhausen here, if he gets in the ring sa WWE, like ano kaya yung magiging circumstances, no? Like I've been thinking about it for the last few weeks. Kasi puro backstage segments and curses and everything.
I mean,
how does he get to mix it up?
He does. He's cursed Dom as well. I thought he was actually gonna cost Dom the title sa Race the Race, but so I thought, so baka pwede pa yun. Pwede din against the Miz, like we've established. So he's doing all this cursing essentially to set up more feuds down the ways. Parang may wager na nga online on who gets to get their hand first on Danhausen, diba? Since he actually hasn't done any physicality at this point.
So sino yung odds-on favorite?
I don't know. It could be anyone because they haven't really
Dom probably.
They haven't really sought that in him.
Yeah.
In a show.
Sorry, Ro, you were saying? Ay,
He said
okay.
it could be anybody because wala pa
Yeah,
siyang
yeah,
slot
yeah.
to show. Yeah.
So yeah, let's go to Triple A for Rey de Reyes naman for these last few highlights. So week 1 to of a 3-week extravaganza over in Triple A. And it seems na yung curse ni Danhausen hanggang US lang yung effect because in Puebla, Dom actually won. He retained his Triple A Mega Championship against Vikingo. So now Vikingo can no longer challenge for as long as Dirty Dom is champion.
Yeah, God, the stipulation has really been everywhere the past few months. No, so I think we need a friggin' moratorium on this particular stipulation. So tama na, no more, giving up challenging opportunities, privileges. Interesting. So I guess that rules out Vikingo. I do think that Dom being banned forever in Mexico or in AAA at least was going to be too much. So I guess it kind of pointed at the result here. Lalo na the ban on Vikingo's end was really as long as Dom was champion. Diba? So, yeah, I mean, the crowd loves Dom. AAA loves Dom. I think he's going to be here for a while.
Yeah, same. I also thought the curse was going to extend to Mexico, but apparently hindi. So it was nice though. Nice to see Dom still on top. I guess the experiment with him isn't over yet. He's been holding it down as AAA Mega Champion. So it was nice that he got to retain. Where that leaves Vikingo though, who is also still a credible star, is still a mystery to me.
Dom's next challenger could very well be the new Rey de Reyes, and that is El Grande Americano Dos. So he won the Fatal 4-Way against original EGA, Santos Escobar, and La Parca.
Yeah,
it only lends credence to me, in my opinion, that original EGA is out the door. Like they're just gonna start calling him. They might as well just start calling him Chad Gable right now because they also have a match on Raw tomorrow. Diba? May match on Raw. So if that's where it's headed, and they really are, because Mexico is still hot on EGA 2. I think you might as well just get rid of EGA 1 at this point because he's not really doing anything apart from just confusing or muddling the storyline here.
No, I don't think he's muddling a storyline. I think he's a really effective heel in Mexico. So I think he'll be staying around. They really hate him over there because they really expose how much of a faker he is. Like Chad Gable was fun as Chad Gable when he wrestled in AAA as Chad Gable, but as El Grande Americano, the original, the faker, fake Mexican, fake Spanish, they really hate his guts over there. So I think he is the effective heel that they need, and it's not going to be over anytime soon for him anywhere, whether it's in US or Mexico. EGA 2, Ludwig Kaiser, really is popular because he has shown so much love to the culture. Kaya, I think they set up Dom versus EGA 2 because first of all, it's a story that wrote itself because they were both allies, and then now they're gonna turn, or Dom is likely gonna turn on him. And
No, meron na, diba? Iniwan ni Dom si El Grande Americano 2 to be attacked. It happened a few weeks ago.
That was a few weeks ago. Pero kasi they had a bit of a reunion, reconciliation after that. So Dom's gonna be the heel, and then I think they're gonna give EGA 2 the Mega Championship whenever that is gonna be.
It's interesting though that this is still the logic that we're following here. Kasi diba, we've already talked about this on another show or on a previous stream na medyo confusing din yung papalit-palit na morality ni EGA 2 and EGA 1, diba? Like,
when you watch both Raw and AAA closely, you easily understand why the presentations are different in both countries. So, okay, I'm gonna break it down. EGA 2 is beloved in Mexico, despite technically being a rudo, kasi he has goons, diba, in Rayo and Bravo, and he does heel tactics like handcuffing EGA 1 to the railings, diba? So he is beloved. He's a technically a technical in he's essentially a technical in Mexico because he shows love. He appreciates the culture. He acknowledges everything about it, and he speaks good Spanish or decent Spanish, whereas EGA1 doesn't, where he's clearly faking the whole being Mexican thing and really pretty clearly disrespecting lucha libre culture. And then if you watch it on Raw, where the crowds are American, they're gonna laugh along at the whole comedy bit na ginagawa ni Chad Gable, diba? Na ginagago lang niya. Kasi to them, it's not really something that they truly appreciate the same way the Mexicans do. And to the American crowd, EGA2 is just a dick who's spoiling the fun, yung good vibes ni EGA1. So it's that simple. It is kind of confusing at first, but all you really have to do is watch and observe the two shows.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's see kung sino yung i-establish talaga nila na babyface in when that feud happens. Kasi nga, even Dirty Dom is super popular in AAA, di ba? To the point na the boos for Vikingo got so much louder nung pinagtambal na sila ni Dom in that singles feud.
Yeah, it seems like Vikingo just really is the person they hate in AAA.
Yeah. Siya lang yung binubuo ng ganun eh. Finally, from Rey de Reyes, Bailey appeared. That was a surprise. She was the challenger for Flammer and her Reina de Reinas championship.
Also, yeah, definitely a surprise, a shock to me. Because I saw the surprise before I actually watched the show. So the fact that I found out that Bailey was actually in Mexico, competing for a title was pretty surprising. Because nobody expected it. Nobody expected a WWE person to take up the open challenge, right? So it was a nice surprise for the match. Flamer is also very good in the ring, so it was a very entertaining wrestling match. Unfortunately, Bailey failed to capture the women's title that they have over there. Flamer still holds the record now. She holds the record now for the longest reigning women's champion in AAA. Congrats to her. And congrats to Bailey, who is a Latina herself, for wrestling in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, deserve naman niya. I think I really wanted her to win, but I think too much, or handing her the win would have given too much to WWE, diba? Although I don't think it would have been a big loss for the AAA women's division if she won the championship there. Like, I'm a Bailey fan. I'm a huge Bailey fan, and I always want to see her get her flowers. And I feel like, especially after last year's slight at WrestleMania, she deserves to get a nice win like this. Pero it does seem like she's gonna be around a little more. Not naman all the time, but she's going to fly back, or it seems like she's going to fly back to Mexico a little more to continue the story. Sana.
Is Bailey the biggest name who's crossed over sa AAA? Parang siya na no?
Parang no.
Natalia? Where do you rank Natty at then?
Oh, definitely below Bailey, but there has to be someone bigger.
Who's crossed appeared over since the WWE acquisition?
We'll get back to that. We'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, kasi like when I saw Bailey, I was like, dito mo talaga ramdam. I mean, I guess with Dirty Dom ramdam mo na. But then again, kasi with Dom, it was easier to like justify in headcanon because of his family's association with AAA.
I mean, technically Ray is the biggest name.
Ray, yeah,
crossover.
Okay, sure.
The non-Ray
legend.
So,
yeah, I guess a non-Ray legend. But yeah, like you see all of these main roster people crossing over na talaga. Diba, Penta declared that he's gonna defend the Intercontinental Championship in AAA. Ray Fenix also appeared, so they also teased yung either the Lucha Bros getting back together or even a singles match between the two of them. So like, this partnership is playing out in a very pleasantly surprising way. Like I didn't know that this is how it would play out, and I'm loving it.
Yeah. I guess it helps when you actually own the company,
Right.
Whereas other partnerships of a similar stature.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get to some picks of the week. We haven't done this in a while, or I always keep forgetting. So let's get to them. I'm gonna start with mine, and dahil binitawan ni Chino, I'm gonna pick the women's gauntlet match from Monday Night Raw. So let's talk about all 5 na lang because all all 6 women came out to ball. From Io and Lyra nung simula to Bailey and Asuka at the end. Shout out as well to sino yung nasa gitna? Natty. Was Natty involved? No, Natty was not involved.
Natty was not involved.
Yeah. But the women's gauntlet match was just super super fun because it raised the stakes for the women's Intercontinental Championship. Ivy Nile there, that's what I was thinking of. Thank you. They even managed to incorporate yung Asuka Kyrie dynamic kasi now Asuka is blaming Kyrie for her not being in a position to challenge for a championship. So yeah, I really appreciated the women's gauntlet match and how it gave all the women a chance to to go out there and ball on Monday Night Raw. Let's go to Chino for his pick.
So yeah, it's a Bailey weekend on the Wrestling podcast because my pick goes out to Bailey versus Flamer for the AAA Women's Championship. Again, it was a very surprising outcome here for just to see Bailey in a non-WWE ring wrestling for a non-WWE title. It's such a good match. You also got the little side action from the other members of Las Toxicas. But a special shout out goes to Ray and JBL, who I think this is the first time I've heard them on commentary together. And I think this is also
no, they've been doing this for weeks, dude.
No, baka ako lang. Baka hindi ko nalala. Pero this is also the first time it came to me na ngayon lang nagka-commentary na dati silang rivals. Right? So the chemistry that they have against with each other during the commentary segment, particularly in this match, was very entertaining to me. Really brought me back to that time in SmackDown. So really just an entertaining match, entertaining card. If you guys have time, watch the entire first week of Rey de Reyes because it was pretty good.
I will comment
One
on
thing-
the. Sorry, I will comment on the JBL commentary. Like, this feels like a lot more like old JBL, who was initially joining commentary. He's not the shouty, super shouty JBL of the mid 2010s. Like, he can still be a bit shouty, especially when he's excited or when he's really putting over a heel. Pero mas reined in siya now, and it's probably because Vince is in his ear.
No, you know why?
Yeah, why?
Because they're doing it remotely.
Okay, right. So wala siya energy of the moment.
They're not live at the venue.
Right. Okay.
So that's why I must rein in see JBL. But like you said, I love what JBL is bringing to the table here. I think of the 3, siya yung favorite ko. Si Ray kasi is still getting his legs under him sa commentary. Medyo hindi pa siya marunong. And even with the translating, parang ano pa siya, medyo sumasablay si Ray just because he's trying to filter in his own mind like what he should say and how he should say it. So that, and hindi naman siya ganun ka-emotional talaga on the mic. Tapos hindi pa siya marunong bumanat. I mean, like si JB and si Corey marunong silang bumanat eh. Si Ray medyo hirap pa siya doon. Kaya
I do appreciate the breadcrumbs that JBL feeds Ray, diba, in commentary.
He's trying to help Ray get better.
So
but
at
Ray,
least diba, may character siya. Yeah.
Ray at this point is like the Mexican Chris Charlton.
Well, we know why Ray is there, diba? Because he's the one who knows the scene the most.
Yeah,
and he's the one who's the actual Hall of Famer
Spanish.
there.
I prefer to watch Ray over Conan. I don't know if that's a thing that I only feel, pero mas nagustuhan ko to.
I mean, at this point, they're at the same level. You know?
Hindi naman. I would rank Ray over Conan.
Yes,
what Ray brings.
Ray is still like the third man, the real third man of a commentary booth, diba? Kaya,
yes.
Yeah.
Sige, let's go to Ro for his pick.
Yeah, sige. Easy pick na lang, the Texas death match between Hangman Adam Page and MJF. If you love your violence, if you love your brutality, if you love blood, if you're not squeamish, this is the match because because we don't always get we don't always get death match, the Japanese style death matches and the CZW style death matches on major wrestling television, major wrestling broadcasts. So when it's here in the very few times it's done on PPV, it's really done well.
All right, those are our picks. we'll see you on Thursday for our next live stream. Thank you for those who caught yung live stream tonight. Para kay Emil Nate na nasa bus, babyface producer Jasper na nagmadali to get on his move it to make it home. Yung WrestleMania 42 viewing party sign-up forms, we're gonna work on that tonight. So watch out for it dito sa Facebook page natin. Facebook.com/wrestling podcast. By Thursday, tingnan natin if Ro and I can log enough time to talk about WWE 2K26. Pati si Emil Nate, I know he has a copy of the game, King of Kings Edition. Nire-review din niya yun. Tingnan rin natin kung may funds na siya para bilhin yung PS5 ni Chino.
Wala pa yan.
So we'll catch up with Emil Nate when he rejoins us on the show this Thursday. But yeah, watch out for the WrestleMania 42 viewing party tickets on the Facebook page. For the show naman, you can follow us at Wrestling Podcast or at Wrestling 2X Pod. Individually, it's at Roes War, at Chino Supersized, at at EML_Meister, at Monday Night Rowan if you miss Rowan, and at _Stan C for me. Thanks again to babyface producer Jasper, and thank you for catching another episode of the longest-running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. For Ro Moran and Chino Liao, I'm Stan C, saying stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be
toxic!
Wrestling Podcast, out!
Peace.